Namaskar. Welcome to this seventh episode of Weekly Dialogues under the aegis of the Jaipur Dialogues. Today I am going to talk about another topical issue, which is the United Nations 74th General Assembly and the issues around it, including our Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to United States in that connection. I also would like to inform you that our annual event of Jaipur Dialogues, the fourth annual event, is coming up. It will be on 19th, 20th and 21st October. All of you are welcome. The registrations are already open on our website, thejaipurdialogues.com, and we expect all of you to come there in large numbers and listen to some very serious, deep and interesting talks from some very eminent speakers. Coming back to the United Nations General Assembly, 74th. Now, United Nations is more of a talking shop these days. But somehow, this 74th General Assembly became very interesting. One, from the Indian perspective, and also because Donald Trump made certain statements in the General Assembly which made it very interesting. What are the major international issues going on right now? One major international issue from our perspective, of course, has been Kashmir, and a lot of people are talking about it. The second major international event that happened was, interestingly, again from the Indian perspective, and it was Howdy Modi. Let me tell you this. Howdy Modi is a never-before event in the history of United States, at least. Why I am saying so? Because it is absolutely rare for 40 senators and the President of the United States to attend a community address being made by the Prime Minister, that is the head of government of another country. So in that sense, it was an absolutely unique event. What he said there and how the reaction was and how the people were responding to him is a different matter. It has been covered extensively, so I am not going into that. But this is one major departure from anything that has happened ever before United States. Whatever may have followed, whatever Donald Trump or the State Department or other organs of the United States or the United Nations might have said after that, is all irrelevant before this one major fact. Remember that. Now we come to another very interesting event that happened, and that was the General Assembly addresses of our Prime Minister Modi and the Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan. Our Prime Minister spoke for 17 minutes because everybody was allotted 15 minutes, so he spoke for 17 minutes, and that was that. And he spoke on the General Assembly theme. Every year the General Assembly has a theme, and this year the major theme was climate change and poverty alleviation. And these were the major themes for the General Assembly. He spoke on the theme, stuck to the theme, did refer to terrorism, but did not refer to Kashmir or Pakistan or Imran Khan at all. Some people call it the royal snub, but it's not the royal snub. That's the way diplomatic channels are exercised, and that is also the diplomatic language. Now what happens when Imran Khan comes on? I think he was about an hour after Prime Minister Modi. Prime Minister Modi was given 15 minutes to speak. He rounded off his speech in 17 minutes. Imran Khan was given 15 minutes to speak. He went on for more than 50 minutes. And what all did he speak? I'll tell you what he said. I'll just refer to my notes. He spoke for more than 50 minutes, mentioned India 25 times, mentioned Modi 12 times, mentioned Kashmir 21 times, mentioned Islam 70 times. I mean, it was sounding like a speech by a Maulana. He could very well have given that speech in the main mosque of Lahore or Rawalpindi, rather than giving it in the UN General Assembly. Then he spoke about terrorism 23 times. And what was his theme in terrorism? That all the terrorists have been trained by the Pakistan army because we were funded by the West. Very interesting. Then he spoke about money 14 times, and the real issue, 0. So that was another interesting sidelight. I call it sidelight because Imran Khan was not really covered by anybody, except later on by the Indian media, and of course Pakistan media definitely had to cover him. It's another thing that the borrowed plane in which he was traveling also had to return back after taking off. So that kind of summed up Imran Khan's visit to the United States and to the United Nations. What happened on the other issues? That's also a very important thing to look at. Immediately after Prime Minister Modi has returned, what has happened? I got this news only about half an hour back, that Saudi Arabia has announced an investment of $100 billion into the Indian economy. Now, that's called real diplomacy. Whereas people are all talking about the foreign visits of the Prime Minister, the one country on which our neighbor, our obstreperous neighbor, depends so much, was so impressed by the speech delivered by Imran Khan that he went ahead and decided to invest $100 billion in India. So we really need to thank Imran Khan that he kind of removed himself from the economic angle altogether, and people now have written him off, written his country off, and they are investing in a big way in India. And this, may I remind you, this is after a $15 billion equity purchase announced by the major Saudi oil company from Reliance Group. So it looks like that the Saudi Arabia has gotten into some kind of a love relationship with India, and Imran Khan is not being heard by what is called the Ummat Muslima. He appealed to the Ummat Muslima or the community of Islam so many times, but nobody seems to have heard him. The only people who heard him were Turkey and Malaysia. Now, what does India do to Turkey? That after Turkey mentioned Kashmir in its address, the Prime Minister Erdogan is on his way back to the Caliphate and the Caliphate brand of Islam, which was the hallmark of the Osmanian Empire. And after he had mentioned Kashmir, Prime Minister Modi had a meeting with at least 3 countries who are at loggerheads with Turkey. With Cyprus, with Greece, and with Armenia. That is a clear message to Erdogan that, look, we are not going to take it lying up. We are not going to take it lying down. China, of course, was given a huge retort. Imran Khan's speech was given a massive retort to which they could not even give a rejoinder. Overall, a very, very entertaining and a very, very happening week, what is called the General Assembly week in the United States, in New York. And I think India has attained a stature during this week, which we all can be very, very proud of. If you like this video, I request you to like it, to subscribe, and also to press the bell icon so that whenever we post a video again on this weekly dialogue, it reaches you automatically.
Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.